Are you fucking stupid? Oh my God, cut that what you want to do. I'm mad. I'm not going to talk out of there. Are you fucking crazy?
Public toilet, be quiet. I'm tired of hearing your voice.
Public toilet, bring upstairs.
I'm very cool, calm, and collected. But guess what? If you try me and you come for me, whatever you receive, you collect.
Okay, guys. Right now, I'm at the point where I'm still trying to decide if everything these women are displaying on the show, if it's actually scripted or if this is who they truly are. Because guys, I made up my mind that for this season 2 of the Real Housewives of Lagos, I'm going to give these women some grace. Like, I'm going to give them a lot of grace, cut them all the slacks that they need to just be expressive, right? Entertain us. I'm not going to go too hard on whatever they display on the show. But I just finished this episode 4 of the show, and guys, I don't even know how to feel right now. My emotions are all over the place, guys. I am angry. I'm angry, I'm amused, I'm irritated. And I think predominantly the dominant emotion I'm feeling right now is that of irritation, especially towards Iyabo, Mariam, and Tanya's attitude towards Faith. I mean, guys, hey, God, where do I even begin? Where do I even begin? And let me even ask you all, how did you even do it? How did you even survive watching this particular episode without breaking your screen? Because guys, I definitely felt like breaking my TV screen at some point because I was just so irritated. I was irritated. How can grown-ass women be giving off such pick-me-up vibes? Pick-me-up vibes, especially from Tanya. Hey, God. I don't even know why I was actually expecting a lot from Tanya. You know, our introduction actually made a huge impression on me. You know, she gave off this vibe of, you know, one that has got her own personality, one that has got her own larger-than-life personality. But watching her in this particular episode,
I'd like to speak directly to Faye and just inform her of how much of a disappointment these insults are. A raccoon. Listening
to her confessionals, guys, nah. Very, very pathetic. And then Mariam, what was all of that drama?
I'm tired of hearing your voice.
Public toilet,
Bring upstairs. Please.
All those guys, yeah. Hey, God. You know what? Let's get into this video. I'm going to analyze it scene by scene as usual, and let me put this disclaimer out there. This is my opinion. My analysis is my opinion, and also, of course, of the actual situation as presented on the show. All right, so this is me giving my reaction towards everything that played out on this particular episode, and I look forward to hearing yours as well. So guys, please go ahead, watch this video to the end, and please share your own reaction in the comment section below. All right, and hopefully this Saturday we just might have a live stream, all right, to have further conversations about this particular episode and hopefully the next episode of the show. All right, so we're gonna get into it, but before I do so, official greetings to every single one of you amazing people out there. Hi, you're welcome back to my YouTube channel. My name is Gloria Elijah. This is Frankly Speaking with Gloria Elijah, and I am the girl with the T. Now, first off, my sincerest apologies to all of you for not releasing my review of this particular episode of the show on Friday last week. Guys, for those of you that are early watchers of the show, you will agree with me that the episode was not released on time, and so I had a lot of things to do. I waited and waited and waited. The episode was not released on time, so I had to just move on with my life. And a lot of you are aware that I'm currently away on vacation, right? So this is the time, this is the only time I could make out to catch up with this episode and also do this review. So apologies for my delay, but guys, believe me, you will not be disappointed. All right, now all of that said, if you're yet to become a part of this community officially, please do not hesitate to do exactly what you see on your screen. Kindly subscribe and also turn on your post notification bell to always receive alerts of my videos whenever I upload a new one. All of that said, quickly, let's proceed with the details of this conversation. First off, before we get into the details of this particular episode, let's briefly reference the drama that's been happening on social media amongst these women. So first, there's the one between Chioma and Toyin. Chioma literally went on some sort of media round, radio interviews to clear the air about her insensitive remarks about Toyin's pregnancy. I have my reservations about that, and I tweeted about it, but we're going to talk more about it on Saturday during our live conversation. I don't want to waste your time about it, but I just want to, give you guys an idea, of how all of these things link together. All right. Now, there's also Iyabo's lengthy ass statement on social media with regards to her role this entire season. She claimed that she signed up to play the villain this season. And guys, I read that piece. Faith Mori also responded, and she was of the opinion that everybody is behaving as their natural self. Yes, which I'm finding quite confusing because, guys, I came into this particular season, with an open mind, to just enjoy the drama, enjoy the entertainment. But then there's certain things that these women are doing, and it's making me question their values. It's making me question the idea of the scripted nature of a reality TV show such as this. Now, from the Real Housewives of Abuja, I have had the opportunity to have conversations with one of the housewives, that is Arafa. And there was something she said, which I found quite, interesting. She said that the show is not scripted. Yes, that they are only told, questions, like they're only asked questions during their confessionals. And then whatever you say is up to you. So it's not like production tells you what to say or how to behave or how to react. So according to her, everybody is acting their natural self. So it's now left to production to edit the show and pick what sells, what will draw traffic for them. So in other words, it wasn't an AI or a machine that was behaving or that is behaving or saying certain things during these women's confessionals, which still boils down now to Iyabo's statement on Instagram about, signing up to be the villain this season. And guys, it's making me wonder how true and how authentic that information is. So I'm going to leave that, that notion hanging, right? We're going to dig more into it on Saturday during our live conversation, all right? But guys, that's food for thought for all of you. But if you have anything to say about that, please just go ahead and share in the comment section below. Now, quickly moving on to the actual analysis of the episode 4 of the Real Housewives of Lagos. Let's begin with the first scene. So this episode opened up with Iyabo visiting Chioma's home to teach her how to make amala, as friends, besties will do. And I found it kind of interesting. And guys, looking at that situation, the only thing I could conclude at that point in time was, okay, these people, in as much as they are showing us that they are friends on the outside, I just don't believe that this bestie situation they have is mostly for the show. Yeah. And I'll give my reasons on Saturday, but I'll just leave it at that. Now, typical of friends, right? The making of the amala was happening, and then they had their moment to discuss and to gossip as well. And the conversation about who Mariam truly is popped up. And Iyabo and Chioma seemed to agree that Mariam was fake. For Iyabo, she felt like she did not know where Mariam stood. And guys, by the time I was done listening to the rationale behind their conclusion about Mariam, it just did not really make sense to me. Because I'm thinking, okay, what is the definition of fakeness? What is the definition of realness? What qualifies someone to be real according to Chioma and Iyabo's standard? I mean, Chioma had the same issue last season, with the likes of Toyin calling her fake, and I think Laura calling her fake. And she had issues with that. And for her, there was no reason for people to call her fake. And now she is in a position where she has put herself to refer to someone else as fake. So guys, I was quite confused. And then they were talking about Iyabo's plan to put together a trip, a getaway for the women. She was actually planning an Ekpe resort trip. And according to Iyabo, she did not want to invite Laura. I think, yeah, she did not want to invite Laura because of how Laura had behaved the previous season when she had invited Laura for her own event. Guys, for that one, I actually agree with Iyabo because Laura was a mess last season. We all witnessed everything, all the drama that Laura brought to this to the show, and especially that Iyabo's daughter's birthday scene where Laura had attended, and I think she had even arrived late, and then she did not even stay up to 10 minutes. She had lied that her husband was waiting for her outside. She had to leave, and then later during her confessional we had discovered that from her own mouth she was lying. She just wanted to leave. So guys, yes, given Laura was an absolute mess last season, and Iyabo had every right, you know, to be quite hesitant, you know, and not wanting to invite Laura. She had every right to do so. Yeah. And in the same breath, I believe that she also had a right to not wanting to invite Faith as well. Because if you think about it, guys, truth is Iyabo and Faith, they are not friends, although they are acquainted, but they are not friends. So she had every right to not want to invite Faith. And if she did not want to see Faith at her event, she would have given strict instructions, you know, to anybody she was inviting not to invite Faith, but she did not. And so Faith ended up getting invited. But we're going to get there. Let's not be too hasty. Now, still on that conversation, Chioma had insisted that she was trying to build a friendship with Laura, like some sort of relationship. So she was going to go ahead to invite Laura, but she wasn't going to invite Faith. But if Laura wanted to invite Faith, then she was free to go ahead and invite Faith. And guys, you see one thing that I found really interesting. By the time Laura got Chioma's message, she was quite light-hearted about it. Yes. Now, she did not really make it a big deal that Iyabo did not call her herself, which I found once again to be another positive tick on Laura's scorecard for this season, because the Laura of before would have made a mountain out of a molehill. She would have made a big deal out of it. But I was quite impressed with the way she handled it. There probably is more, right? Because of the way production edited that particular scene, there probably is more. I don't know, but we saw the way you know, she accepted the invitation. She was quite excited, you know, by Chioma's invite, and I was really impressed that she did not really, you know, get really dramatic about the fact that Iyabo did not invite her herself to her own event. But now, referring back to that meeting between Chioma and Iyabo, guys, I don't know, I was quite amazed at how Chioma has suddenly changed, you know, from this classy, bougie, sweet woman, you know, into this person that is slowly inheriting Iyabo's beef with some of the women in the group. I mean, guys, I found it incredible that it seems like Iyabo's perception about these women has almost completely rubbed off on Chioma's own perception about these women. It's now looking like Chioma is becoming Iyabo's shadow. She still stands out, don't get me wrong. You know, classy, bougie, her style, out of this world. I admire, I love, I stan. But it's beginning to look like Iyabo's personality is slowly rubbing off on Chioma. And guys, you and I know that when two people are friends and are constantly engaged in gossips about other people, they will begin to exchange values, right? And sometimes one person's value rubs off more on the other person's value. One person's perception about people or situations it rubs off more on the other person than the other person's one. And I feel like in this Chioma and Iyabo situation, it's Iyabo that is doing more of the influencing than Chioma. And I don't know how I feel about that. Guys, what do you think? Go ahead, let me know in the comment section below. Now, moving on to the next scene. Tanya invited Faith to yoga class to get to know her more. According to her, she feels like Faith is the only person that she still cannot really figure out, you know, so she needed that time for both of them to have conversation, you know, to get to know her better. And Faith obliged her invitation. So they met in yoga class and, you know, had fun. And then they went to the cafe to grab something to eat and unwind and then also have conversations. Now, Tanya expressed her hurt at the fact that Faith had actually kept them all waiting at her event, which she was in the right to do, because guys, I would complain as well. And Faith had apologized and had taken out time to explain that she had a situation with her car and she could not drive herself around because she did not know everywhere around Lagos, and something about her driver not being available. So there was a lot going on, hence the reason she was kind of delayed. Now, Tanya looked like she was kind of convinced in front of Faith, but then when she had a confessional, she was saying that that was not an excuse. According to her, if Faith can drive in LA, then Faith should be able to drive anywhere, not to even talk of Lagos. And I'm like, Tanya, girl, you should know better. You should know better. The word on the street usually is that if you can drive in Lagos, Nigeria, then you should be able to drive anywhere else, because Lagos, Nigeria is crazy. The road is wild. The road is crazy. So if someone is telling you that she could not drive herself in Lagos, I don't understand. Why do you think that that is not enough excuse? So you think because you are a Lagosian, bona fide Lagosian, Omo Eko, you can drive in Lagos, so Faith that is based in the US should know how to drive in Lagos. Guys, I felt like that was very, very unfair. That was a very, very unfair and biased judgment coming from Tanya. But then I do agree with her suggestion to Faith that Faith should ensure that her security protocol knows how to drive, you know, just in case of emergency. That I totally agree with, because the reason she gave made a lot of sense. She said in case of emergency, and I feel like that makes a lot of sense. Although Faith did not see it that way, because according to her, that is not a lifestyle. People have different ways of doing things. And for her, she believes in having her own driver and also having a security person focusing on, you know, what he was hired to do. And guys, I feel like that is fine. If Faith does not want to, you know, toe that line of lifestyle that Tanya was, you know, preferring, then it is fine, because everybody has their own way of doing things, right? And guys, at that point in time, it just felt like Tanya was just looking for something to pick, you know, to tag as a shortcoming that Faith has, because it seems like Faith is just too perfect for these women. And so they are all looking for something to pick on. And I felt like Tanya really, aside the lateness part, and the fact that Faith has explained, I felt like at that point in time, there was nothing really, but why was she nitpicking? Why was she looking for something that's not there? Now, for the next scene, Chioma and Toyin meet up to discuss and resolve their differences. Now, according to Chioma, Toyin kind of caught her in a tight position at her event, you know, by quickly apologizing and explaining herself without giving her room, you know, to also kind of express herself. And so that was a perfect opportunity for both of them to have a conversation. For Toyin, she also had things on her chest that she had to spill, and so the conversation started. And guys, before we get into the conversation, let me just say this, that for this entire episode, that particular scene was absolutely my favorite scene, because oh my god, it was like a crazy, mind-blowing, insane cold war between these two ladies. Guys, it was so intense. It was so intense. And I absolutely loved the way Chioma stood her ground. Guys, the confessionals were fire. The confessionals were giving. The moment Chioma was declaring how many people was going to beat up Toyin if Toyin attacked her, guys, that was hilarious, but that was dope. I loved it. I also loved the way Toyin was also catching cruise with the entire situation. And I also loved the fact that Toyin actually apologized, you know, but then Chioma's apology Chioma's apology was wild. Her apology was wild. But anyways, guys, these two women started the conversation. For Chioma, she had felt like she and Toyin were cool. She felt like they had a good relationship. She felt like there was something there, right? You know, they were poor. She just felt like they had something good growing as a friendship. But then she was quite offended with the way Toyin would constantly, you know, attack her over her lateness, over the things that she would wear, over her makeup. And guys, if you recall from the previous season, one of those scenes where Toyin would constantly complain about how Chioma would powder her face when they were out, and Chioma felt like that, she just felt like that was completely unnecessary, because hey, she's a grown adult and Toyin had no right to tell her what to do and what not to do. And the fact that Toyin had extended that, you know, that perception about her, you know, to getting all physical with her at the reunion, she just felt like that was actually a lot, and she would never understand how we got to that point and why Toyin would choose to want to physically attack her. Now, for Toyin, her grievance was about how she felt like Chioma was trying to assassinate her character, you know, by going ahead to tell Laura that at Laura's fashion show that she was showing Chioma her own fashion pieces, that was not true, and Chioma knew that that was not true, but Chioma rode with that narrative and dwelt on it and even pushed it, and that sort of created some sort of rift between herself and Laura. Now, Chioma maintained that Toyin's attack on her at the reunion was completely unacceptable. Now, whilst they were going back and forth, Toyin was standing on the grounds that whatever she said about Chioma was her own opinion. Now, Chioma was of the opinion that whatever she also said about Toyin was her own opinion. Even at the reunion, what she said was her own opinion. And if Toyin felt like it was okay for her to have an opinion, then why was it a problem that she equally had an opinion that she felt like it completely did not really make sense at all? Now, it got to the point where Chioma was still telling Toyin that she felt like the attack was unnecessary, and Toyin, you know, if she was apologizing, she should be genuine about it. But now it's looking like she's not being remorseful at all about it. And Toyin said that she could do it again if Chioma disrespected her and, you know, tried to assassinate her character again. And Chioma was like, "You're going to do it again?" Toyin said yes. Guys, that moment was so epic. It was so intense. And that was the point where Chioma had said during her confessionals that, look, her security would beat Toyin up if Toyin ever tried to lay a finger on her again. Her security would beat her up, a man would beat her up, and police, the army, that it would be Toyin being dead on arrival.
Yeah, that like, baby girl, it's like you don't understand that I'm ready for you. I've come prepared. After beating you, my bodyguards will beat you, my mobile will beat you, my soldiers will arrest you, like you will be dead on arrival. This is not the time. Chioma of last year is not Chioma of this year. You better get this straight.
Guys, Chioma declared that she came prepared, she was ready, and this was not the Chioma of the previous season. Guys, oh my God. See, that moment was epic. And I'm gonna be frank with all of you. Whilst Chioma was saying all what she was saying, guys, I was over here, I was applauding her because, guys, that was what I wanted to see. Yes, I was just applauding her because, hey, come on, nobody has a monopoly of violence, right? If you think you're equal to the task, yes, I will also come prepared with my arsenal, with my full army. So you to come with your own full army. We are rich Lagos women, right? So we're going to match force for force. We're going to match power for power. We're going to match resources for resources. We're going to match connection for connection. And from the way Chioma was sounding, it felt like she actually went to go and harness all the connection that she has in this world, all because of Toyin. And I'm like, guys, I am here for it. But then the beauty about that conversation was that Toyin had gone ahead to apologize, and Chioma accepted the apology, but then Chioma's apology was all freaking shady. Like, she apologized for making reference to Toyin's son. You know, I think Toyin's son had actually modeled the runway for Laura's event, and I think Chioma had actually said something, and that had really pissed off Toyin a lot, because she felt like, no, Chioma had no right, you know, to bring her family into their feud. But then for Chioma, she was not apologizing for any other thing. She was not apologetic for any other thing that Toyin was accusing her of doing, and she was not going to apologize for it. I say, hey, this Chioma this season, it's like she carried Oshuka, put it on top of her head, and then she carried one big basket of violence this season. And guys, I'm here for it too. I'm here for it. Fast forward to the next scenes, it was the ladies packing up and getting set for Iyabo's getaway. And a particular scene that really caught my eye, that I found quite adorable, was the scene between Toyin and her husband. Now, it was her husband carrying on his back their baby, their daughter. And guys, I found it so adorable. Yes, she said their nanny was away, or I can't remember if she said they don't have a nanny. I can't really remember what she said at that point, but the husband was obviously pulling his weight, you know, and filling in her shoes of parenting their child, you know, while she goes away to have fun with the girls. And I found that quite sweet, guys. And I mean, I'm all for men who are there to be very supportive of their women, so I found that quite cute. Now, fast forward to the actual trip itself. The ladies started arriving at the Ekpe resort one after the other. Iyabo was there already getting things set for the women. Chioma had arrived with Tanya, and guys, I found it quite amusing the way Tanya was literally at every given point in time trying to insert herself into this Iyabo and Chioma's mix. Yes, so obviously Tanya and Chioma arrived together. They rode in the same car as friends, and Iyabo had called Chioma, and Tanya was acting overly excited.
Trust me, you're gonna have fun. You know,
she was acting overly sweet towards Iyabo and even giving unnecessary compliments. Yes, I call it unnecessary because I'm like, okay, where is this coming from? Why are you acting like you have been the best friend to Iyabo and not Chioma? And I get it, right? A friend of a friend invited you out, so you have to be sweet, right? And complimentary. But then I felt like she was being excessive, yes. And that was where I felt like she started giving this pick me vibes, and I did not find it sweet at all, yes. And so they had arrived at the resort, and she was already forming, oh my God, Iyabo, we are twinning, we're wearing blue and blue. And I'm like, oh, Tanya, oh my God, where is your personality? Can you just stop giving this desperation vibes? Because guys, I wasn't finding it funny anymore at that point in time. I mean, she was being overly warm and overly sweet. It's like, oh my God, I'm trying to impress Iyabo so hard. Oh my God, I don't want Iyabo to start antagonizing me like she's already antagonizing Laura and even Faith, that is just as new as I am in this group. So guys, I found it pathetic. And I didn't even know that there was more to come. So we're going to get there. Now, Iyabo, you know, was having conversations with Chioma about the people they had invited. Chioma had mentioned that she had invited Laura, and she feels like Laura was going to invite Faith. And Iyabo did not seem pleased at all. But then, it was quite amusing. And I found it interesting as well that Iyabo had decided that she wanted to, at that point in time, invite Dr. Romel.
You're coming?
I'm coming.
And this is literally how I feel about Dr. Romel.
Thank you so much, my lady.
Now, let's all remember that as far as Dr. Romel is concerned, we were introduced to Dr. Romel as viewers of the show by Faith. Yes, we got to know Dr. Romel through Faith. In other words, Dr. Romel is supposed to be Faith's closest confidant on the show. He's supposed to be Faith's best friend on the show. Yes, just as much as Faith is friends with Laura, when you talk about that bestie, that close confidant, it is Dr. Romel. So I found it quite weird that the same Iyabo that was going on and on and on about not wanting to invite Faith because Faith is Laura's friend, when we all know that that is not the actual real reason she did not want to invite Faith, right? I found it quite weird that it was she herself that was now going ahead to call Dr. Romel directly to invite him for her event to come to the Ekpe resort, considering the fact as well that Dr. Romel is Faith's friend. So it made me wonder, like, Iyabo, are you not being a hypocrite right now? Are you not, like, guys, I don't know. What do you all think about that? What do you all think about that? And Chioma was so excited.
I'm good. How you doing?
Oh my God, I want you to Romel, you. And you see, guys, if you had watched my review of the previous episode, you would have listened to the analysis I gave about that, ridiculous but entertaining dance that Dr. Romel had actually presented at Faith's event. And also listening to Dr. Romel's confessional, it was very obvious that he wanted to steal the shine, because he clearly said it, that because it was his dance that sort of put everybody in a good mood, then it turned out to be his event and not Faith's event. So I found it quite weird as well. Like, okay, is Dr. Romel being a social climber right now? And guys, the explanation I gave, it was sort of in that line, yes, because I clearly explained that what Dr. Romel did was quite smart. He was being a very, very smart businessman that found an opportunity via a friend and was heavily leveraging on it. That in this Lagos, Nigeria, if you want to penetrate the circle of all these rich women, all these high achieving women, all these high flying women that are married or dating billionaire people that have a very, very broad network of, the top shots in the society, before you can penetrate their circle, you have to come bougie first, and then you also have to act ridiculous. You need to be the clown. You need to act stupid for them. You need to give them something to laugh about. You need to be entertaining and refreshing. Act like you have a pea brain. Act like you don't have a mind of your own. Act like you are a professional bootlicker, like you're a professional ass kisser. Yes, show them that desperation at least a bit, that you are ready to be loyal to them, and your market will sell. and they will gladly welcome you into their circle. Now, I did not put it this way, but this was, the line of my explanation on that previous episode. And guys, watching Iyabo and Chioma getting all excited and giddy, even describing, the reason they love Dr. RHOLagos company, guys, it just completely affirmed all that I explained about Dr. RHOLagos' strategy, to penetrate that circle. And guys, that was exactly what it was. That was it. Because these people were just describing Chioma especially. Oh my God, I love the way he was dancing. He's such good vibes. And I'm like, so that could now explain the reason these two ladies, Chioma and Iyabo, are finding it quite difficult to have a good rapport with Faith. And you see, guys, putting 2 and 2 together, that sort of explained why Iyabo is sort of antagonizing Faith. And that also explains why Chioma cannot seem to relate with Faith. Because guys, it's very obvious these people are seeing Faith as a competition. Yeah, Chioma especially cannot stand the fact that there's somebody else that's just as fashionable and stylish as her. And also, very, very classy and bougie, just like her. Someone is obviously coming to take the crown, and Faith is doing amazing in that light. Yes, and for Iyabo, it's just the mere idea of, oh my God, who does she think she is? I was here before, I was in the group, I'm the oldest in the group, I was in the first season, I am the most respected person, and I should maintain that position, that status. And oh, this girl seems to have a lot of pride, she seems to know herself, she's not but licking me, she's not kissing my ass, she's not trying to be loyal to me, she's not giving me that that worship, that adoration that I want. So I'm going to make life difficult for her over here. Guys, that was just the vibe that Chioma and Iyabo were giving. And that call to Dr. RHOLagos, it just completely explained everything I shared with all of you on my previous analysis of the previous episode. I don't know about you guys, but if you think otherwise, or if you agree with me, let me know in the comment section below. Next scene, Iyabo had gone to Toyin's room and she had informed her that she did not invite Faith because Faith is Laura's friend and she was still upset with Laura about the way Laura conducted herself in the past. And for Faith is Laura's friend, and so she does not see any reason to invite Faith, which once again I tag hypocritical, because once again Dr. RHOLagos is friends with Faith. So if you don't want to invite Faith, why are you inviting Faith's friend? Very fishy to me. Now, Toyin, on the other hand, was of a different opinion. According to her, she thinks there's a lot more to Faith that these ladies do not know yet, and they need to give her time, to get to know her better. And by the ways, Toyin and Faith, they had actually rode together from Lagos to Epe, and from the clips that we were shown, they had a lot of fun. They had a blast, and it was very obvious that Toyin already was getting to learn Faith, and they were getting to know each other, and there was mutual respect, and she was actually liking Faith already. And I also love the fact that she was not allowing Iyabo or Mariam or any other woman's perception about Faith, to ruin the perception that she has been able to, develop about Faith. So she was making a case for Faith during her confessionals. And guys, I really appreciated that, because for me, I felt like, yes, this is the Toyin I want to see. The Toyin that has a mind of her own, the Toyin that would not allow any other person's opinion about other people, to tamper with her own opinion, about those people. And guys, you all know on this channel that I am of the opinion of getting to meet people first, getting to know them better before forming a negative perception about them. And I also love the fact that we were also let in on the fact that Toyin in less than 24 hours had created outfits for all the women, all of them, including Laura, including Faith. Guys, I was so impressed. And you see, this is one thing I really admire about Toyin. However she comes, whoever she is, however way she carries herself on the show, you can never take away the fact that she is a fashion genius. And that is one thing I will always respect her for, her craft. She will never cease to be who she is. And guys, I love the fact that on this show, regardless of all the drama and everything, she always sells herself. And I cannot wait to see the ladies rock their outfits maybe in the next episode. Another thing that really rubbed off on me the wrong way about Iyabo was when Toyin and Faith arrived at the resort, and Iyabo made a very insensitive remark about Faith's outfit. Now, we all know how Toyin dresses. Toyin has this very, very eccentric, different, amazing style, right? She's fond of wearing white a lot, and when she wants to wear black, she wears all black. Like, she really goes the extreme with her fashion, and that is her style, and there's absolutely nothing wrong with it. But Faith also has her own fashion sense, and she too likes, you know, going all out as well, and there's absolutely nothing wrong in going all out because that is her style. So Toyin was wearing all white and Faith was wearing all black, and I felt like she looked stunning, she looked regal, she looked amazing. But guess what? They arrived, Iyabo looked at Faith, and then she made the most insensitive, you know, statement about, oh, and this girl, why is she wearing all black? Oh, it looks like she and Funeral has something in common.
Why is Faith dressed in all black? This girl and Funeral has something in common.
And I'm like, guys, come on. That is so insensitive, and it doesn't make sense at all. It doesn't make sense. And guys, I'm Nigerian. I'm Nigerian. These women are Nigerians, and there are certain places that you make such a comment and people will not find it funny. They're gonna attack you because it's kind of superstitious when you are comparing someone or saying somebody has a relationship or a lot of things in common with death or people dying or burying someone. And when you make such reference, then guys, it just doesn't make sense at all. It doesn't make sense. I'm like, Iyabo, come on. All in a bit to score cheap points, and then you really had to go that low. Doesn't really make sense. And you know what was really annoying? What was really annoying was the fact that later on, there was, what's her name now? Tanya, that wore all black to the movie and strippers event later that night. And there was also Chioma that was wearing an all black lingerie. And then there was also Iyabo herself that was wearing an all black lingerie. And I'm like, Iyabo, aren't you being hypocritical right now? Like, what is it about Faith that turns off Iyabo so bad that at every given opportunity, she wants to nitpick? She wants to look for something. She wants to look for a reason to drag, to antagonize Faith. Now, as I said at the start of this video, I understand that this is a show. We need to be entertained. We need the drama. I mean, these women were not giving. We will be complaining, right? But guys, it doesn't mean that we cannot talk about these things that we see on the show. So I would love to hear your thoughts about that. What do you think? According to Iyabo, it's about 25 years of her being on stage, you know, of pursuing her career, and one of the reasons she chose to bring the ladies to the resort was to celebrate that. And so for that particular night, they were going to celebrate her journey in acting by her playing for them one of our most recent movies, one of our most recent productions, and the theme of the night was strippers, right? So the ladies were to come all out in their amazing lingeries and just go all out for the kill. And everybody, okay, maybe not everybody understood the assignment, but Faith lived up to that. What's her name now? Chioma lived up to that. Mariam lived up to that. As a matter of fact, Mariam was literally almost naked, like let's call it 99% naked, yes, from what she was wearing. But then I found it quite weird that she had a lot to say about what Faith was wearing. Faith equally dressed up to the theme of the party for that night. But then the moment Faith walked in, Mariam made some sly remarks to Tanya, and they were laughing so loud. They were laughing so hard.
Are we watching the one session? Are you watching the same thing?
Well, this is stripper though. This is pajamas. Like you're expecting like a booty call or I don't know, a dick appointment, and yes.
Like they wanted Faith to see that they were laughing at her. And I was quite disappointed in Tanya though, because I felt like, Tanya, once again, you are acting like a hair head. like you do not have a mind of your own. You are not even particularly dressed for the occasion, but then you sit down there and you're making a mockery of a classy woman that obviously knows what to wear for the right occasion. Like, what's your deal? Anyways, almost immediately, they were inquiring about Laura's whereabouts, like, okay, where is Laura? And turns out that Laura had not arrived. And then Faith informed us during her confessionals that Laura had been going on and on about seeing her husband or looking forward to her husband. Probably her husband was not in town and she was actually expecting his arrival. And so by now, that means at that point in time on the show, she was loving up already with her husband. So for her, there was no need to make a big deal out of Laura's absence. Yes. And guys, the thing is, Laura and Faith has a certain kind of relationship that feels like they do not necessarily have to share too much information about their friendship to outsiders. Yeah, like they don't really care about people's opinion, as we've learned from both Laura and Faith herself. But then the other women made it their business and they carried it on top of their head, with the exception of Toyin, of course. Now, Mariam started it. Already, Iyabo was giving off this air of she doesn't care about Laura. But then Mariam made it a big deal, you know, about, oh, what's her name? Faith should call Laura. Faith should look for Laura. And Faith was like, what's the deal? Why, you know, why are you so pressed? Why are you so concerned? Now, Chioma stood up and said she was going to go call Laura because she was the one that invited Laura. Apparently, Toyin was the one that invited Faith. And that was how Mariam went on and on and on and on.
They don't want this to be. No,
Don't bring it.
Me.
Hey,
You are acting very shady.
What the fuck is your business?
You're acting very shady.
It's not my business.
You're acting shady. Why do you want another friend? I'm acting your friend, baby girl.
And from the way she was going on about that matter, it felt like she was trying to convince everybody there and us, the viewers, that Faith was a fake friend to Laura, all because she's not sharing information about Laura's whereabouts. And guys, Mariam made it look like she actually really cared. She made it look like she actually was really concerned about Laura, when in the real sense, she isn't, and or wasn't, yes, as we've seen on the show. And it was also a sort of concern for Faith, because Faith was wondering, like, why is this girl making it a big deal? What is it, you know, about her friendship with Laura that this girl needs explanation about? Like, none of these women were her mother or her father. Like, they have no right to tell her anything, what to do and what not to do. And guys, it got to the point of Mariam calling Faith shady. Guys, the whole thing just went from 0 to 100, went all crazy, and Faith did not back down. She stood her ground. She stood her ground. She owned her own and refused to allow Mariam bully her into silence. And Mariam was making comments like, if I start with you, you cannot handle it. And Faye was like, girl, you don't know where I'm coming from. All the violence from Ikwere to wherever, you don't know. You don't know what led to me being this calm. And guys, Mariam was acting like one Agbero on the street, like she wanted to fight. I'm like, Mariam, can you just calm down? All this ratchetness, all this ratchet behavior, it's not going to get you anything. The loudest does not always win the argument. Why are you making so much noise? And guys, all the women too could see and could tell that Mariam was making a lot of noise, but then their hypocrisy would not allow them to talk, with the exception of Toyin, of course. Now, I love the fact that Toyin was standing her ground and trying to call Mariam to order, because she and Mariam, they have known each other the longest in that group. And she was really disappointed in Mariam's behavior. And the fact that Mariam was also disrespecting the host, Iyabo, by causing all of that chaos, you know, in a situation where she's trying to celebrate something, a big achievement in her life. And guys, I love the example that Toyin gave, that this is the same Mariam that would not condone or accept any form of disrespect from any of the women, you know, at her home or when she's having any event. But now she's doing the exact opposite of what she claims to stand for at someone else's event. And guys, she was talking and she was drinking. And guys, I do not believe that Mariam was actually drunk or tipsy, because hey, she's actually drinking champagne. So it wasn't like she was taking tequila shots or anything like that. The part that also really pissed me off was Tanya's confessional.
The person that was airing your laundry list, you did not ignore that one. The person that is now asking you a simple question like, when was I involved? Your question is the person that you're now facing.
Mariam had a lot, like a mouthful and more, to say about Faith, attacking Faith, calling Faith names, and of course, Faith was reciprocating the energy, even when this was calling Mariam a raccoon face. You know, guys, that point where Mariam was talking about, don't insult my intelligence. And I'm like, what intelligence? I don't understand. What did you do to warrant such a statement? And Chioma was sort of, you know, instigating shit and saying, oh, Faith, you don't have to insult her. I love the question that Faith asked, that is she intelligent though?
Yeah, but you know the way I am. More like bad rubbish. More like shame you.
Okay, but
don't try to fuck with my fucking intelligence.
She went, but hold on.
She won't work.
Hold on. You won't fuck with her intelligence.
So is she intelligent?
Jesus! Because that's a valid question. If you are intelligent, you shouldn't be carrying this matter on your head like fried puff puff, because it's none of your business. It's got nothing to do with you. And just like Toyin rightly said, Mariam was like a busy bee, like desperately trying to, not even trying, but she was desperately inserting herself in a matter that she has no business, you know, involving herself in. And if she was even Laura's best friend, guys, that would be understandable. But she doesn't really care about Laura like that. So what was her deal? And so Faith's question was valid. Is she intelligent though? I would ask the same question. Are you really intelligent? Because if you were intelligent, you would see that you're making a big fool out of yourself by being the only ratchet and noisy and loud person right there, while every other person was just looking at you and making a mockery of how you were making a fool of yourself. As I was saying about Tanya's confessional, guys, I maintain that it was very, very annoying. It was such a turn off. It was just, ew. Guys, I don't even know. I'm just trying to be kind with my words. It was very annoying because Tanya sat down there. She was getting entertained. She was laughing, you know. She was enjoying the jabs. She was enjoying the attacks from Mariam towards Faith. Every time Mariam scored a cheap point, calling Faith shady, insulting her, saying all manner of nasty things, she would be laughing, she would be kicking and cacaing about. And then when Faith is trying to match up Mariam's energy, she would look at Faith and give this eye and give that eye and give that eye. And then in a confessional, she was actually blaming Faith. She was saying that, it's very easy. Faith should have just answered the question and, you know, allowed the matter to rest. Why is she making a big deal out of it? And then when Faith had called Mariam a raccoon face, she was saying, no. She blames Faith. The name calling was very unnecessary. I'm like, Tanya, you're too pretty to be a pick-me-up. You're too pretty to not have a mind of your own. You're too pretty to not have a personality of your own. You're too pretty to be bootlicking on the show. Come on. Toyin was the only person there that stood for what was right. Because her stance was, number one, Mariam had no business butting her head into Faith and Laura's relationship or friendship. And guys, that's a fact. Faith is not a child. She even said it herself. That's Mariam. Mariam even said it herself, that, oh, she's asked Laura about her friendship with Faith, and Laura said, oh, everybody should leave both of them alone, that they understand each other. So the question is, why was she making a big deal out of it? And Iyabo too, on one hand, would be blaming Mariam, that, oh, Mariam, why did you bring it up? Because we're not supposed to bring it up. And then on the other hand, it was very obvious that because already she has made up her mind about Faith by, like, not really liking Faith, she does not want to, you know, call a spade, but was still looking for something to pick about Faith, which she later did. Because after a bit, after all the basketballs flying up and down, everybody sort of, you know, simmered down for a bit. And then Iyabo called in someone to serenade them with some music. And then they watched the movie. They did some stripper games and dancings and whatever. And everybody had fun. And then, I can't remember who decided to introduce a game. Was it Tanya or who? I can't remember at this point. But they decided to play a game. Okay, it was Tanya. So they decided to play a game where they would ask each other questions just to get to know each other better. And that was where Iyabo threw the first question at Mariam, asking Mariam, why did you decide to fight at my event tonight? You know, and it was supposed to be all fun and vibes. But then Mariam started all over again, instead of going straight to the point to explain herself by, you know, attacking Faith again and talking about, oh, if I fight with you, you can't even stand it, blah, blah, blah. Like, Mariam, is that even necessary? Is that even necessary? Because once again, the attack started all over again. Now, after a lot of talk, Iyabo now threw a direct question at Faith, asking Faith, when I asked you at Chioma's event, blah, 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 to call Laura? Why did you say blah, blah, blah? And Faith explained herself. But she was trying to explain. Iyabo constantly was cutting her off, was shutting her up, and was being so bossy. And guys, you could tell that there was some level of bullying to it. Because it's like, Iyabo was making it look like she was talking to a child that does not have a voice, that does not have a right to speak her mind. And she just was constantly shutting up Faith. And I love the fact that Faith did not back down. Faith was standing her ground. And guys, the look on Tanya's face, oh my God, the look of disapproval was so disgusting to see. Because it just felt like Tanya too was trying to be on the safe side. She was trying to play safe. She was trying to be with the gang that was against Faith. And so she was just, oh my God. Anyways, there was a lot of things that was said. Iyabo was doing the most, was attacking Faith. Faith as well was speaking her mind. Mariam too joined forces with Iyabo, was calling, what's her name? Faith names. Faith as well was taking on both of them. Now, Chioma was trying to be safe as well because she knew that Mariam and Iyabo were doing too much. But because of this, her friendship now that looks like an entrapment with Iyabo, she was trying not to be on Iyabo's good and bad side. And so she decided to now try to be neutral, but you could tell that she was not being neutral. And so she asked them, Faith, Faith, everybody wants to know, what is your relationship like with Laura? And I'm like, Chioma, it's the flipping audacity for me. Like, Chioma, who are you? What makes you think you have a right to ask that question? Because guys, you see what was really pissing me off about that Chioma's question? Chioma would not like anybody to ask her that question because it completely took my mind back to the first season, you know, where people were questioning and castigating her friendship, her relationship with Caroline. And she buckled under the pressure of peer pressure and the gang up and whatever, and automatically now she had a fallout with Caroline and now is with friends with the people that were sort of antagonizing Caroline in the first season. And now she acting like a bully, acting all in the guise of, oh, I want to be neutral, coming to come and ask Faith that question, guys. I felt like, nah, I don't even know what to say. I just felt like Chioma had no right to ask that question because for one who does not like people being all up in her business, that was really hypocritical. Yeah, that was hypocritical of her, wanting to be in Faith's business. And at that point in time, you could clearly see that she had automatically inherited Iyabo's beef against Faith. And then when Faith had even explained herself to answer Chioma's question, guys, and for me, the explanation she gave, it made a lot of sense. But Iyabo carried on and was talking about her expectations of Faith, that she expects Faith to express more empathy, more sympathy, more love, more care about Laura, the way Laura carries her on her head. I'm like, Iyabo, who the fuck are you again? Are you Faith's mother? Who are you to be placing such high expectations on someone you don't even know? Like, woman, you don't even know Faith. You don't even understand the relationship she has with Laura. And that was exactly what Faith was saying. That these people don't even understand her relationship with Laura. She and Laura, they understand how they do things. And it is nobody's business. She owes nobody any flipping explanation. And that was the same stance that Toyin took. The only sane person that was there at that point in time. Because every other person, they were acting like they were moving crazy or high on something. So guys, it was just so annoying. The whole drags continued to the point that Faith and Mariam started slut-shaming each other. And then Mariam was charging like an angry aunt. Sorry, I cannot tag that a bull, but she was charging like an angry aunt. And guys, me, I was here. I was actually expecting that Mariam would go and slap Faith. But she got to Faith's front and it was like she encountered fire and then she backed down. I'm like, look at you behaving like a coward. Displaying all manner of drama, acting all theatrical. And guys, I'm like, girl, stop talking. Stop making noise. Go and fight. Shebi say you want to fight. Shebi, you say that if you fight with Faith, she will not be able to take it. Oh yeah, go and fight. And you know what was sweet at that point in time? It was the way Faith sat down, did not flinch, did not move, did not even blink. She just sat down there and she was waiting for Iyabo and Mariam to do their worst, and they could not. And guess what? All the drama that Mariam was doing, she ended up shoving Chioma twice. And Chioma was on the floor and Chioma could not talk. And I was laughing. I'm like, if it's Caroline now, Chioma will have wings. Chioma, talk now. It's Mariam now. It's Iyabo now. You cannot say anything. So guys, Iyabo stood, was hovering around Faith and was shouting, even telling her, hey. Guys, yeah, it was all shades of drama, insults, disrespect, disregard. At a point, it looked like a bullying situation. And guys, I don't know. I'm not going to lie. I found it entertaining, especially Toyin's reactions during the confessionals that gave the needed energy for this particular scene. I enjoyed it. I was thoroughly entertained and I loved it. Yes. However, we cannot overlook the hypocrisy that was on full display in that particular scene. We cannot overlook the pick-me vibes that Chioma and Tanya especially were given. We cannot overlook Mariam's ratchet behavior at that point in time. We cannot overlook the hypocrisy from Mariam as well, because Faith even revealed that Mariam literally went to go and Google her, and then she was calling people all the way in the US, you know, to get information about her. And I'm like, oh wow, is Mariam that desperate for drama this season? Is Mariam that desperate, you know, to attack Faith this season? If she was looking for someone to attack, why isn't she picking on someone like Toyin, or at least even Iyabo, or even Chioma? Why is she going after Faith? Is it because Faith is calm? Is it because Faith looks quiet? Is it because she's very, very soft-spoken? Is it why these ladies think that she was an easy prey this season? Guys, one question I really loved that Faith was asking Iyabo was, what will you do? Iyabo was just making noise. Guys, yeah, see, there's a lot for us to discuss on Saturday, and we'll definitely talk. But at this point here, I've said what I want to say. I've said my perception about each and every single one of these women by this particular episode and what they've been giving from the get-go of this season. And that is what I think. I'm still waiting, fingers crossed, to see if there's going to be a change. Somebody has already given me some hints that Dr. Rommel will switch over to Iyabo's side, you know, before the show ends. And I guess that's the reason Faith did not show up at his launch, because he launched his clinic over the week last week, and Faith was not there, but there was Chioma and Iyabo. So guys, there's a lot for us to talk about on Saturday, all right? And also more that will be happening from episode 5, as Dr. Rommel was shown to have arrived at the Ekpe Resort in episode 5. So let's see how it goes. But in the meantime, I've said what I want to say. This is my reaction whilst I was watching this particular episode of the Real Housewives of Lagos. I would love to hear from you as well. So just go ahead, share in the comment section below, and I'll see you guys on another episode of Frankly Speaking with Gloria Elijah. Thank you so much for watching and have an amazing day. Bye.